I think a lot of people underestimate the degree that when you go to a doctor, I mean, yeah, you are deferring your decision making, your expertise. You're asking for somebody else to be an authority on whatever it is that you're at the doctor for. Okay, so my problem with ever even having like consenting to having like two records, like let's say like this blood test versus the next blood test, is like I don't want them to have anything to compare and contrast. Okay, so because that consent to their expertise, their translation, their interpretation, their advice, even, as soon as you give them anything to compare and contrast, they can take that and just kind of run with it. Because you've consented to it, and you're not the expert, and who are you gonna ever get to contest, your chosen person's interpretation, right? Your chosen person's ideology, your chosen doctor's recommendations. Like, you're never gonna get to escape that once you consent to it. So I'm not saying it's a problem for most of you. I'm just saying, like, once you find yourself on like whatever side of persecution line that they've got to, that's another good way for them to just, all they have to do is make a stack of paper. But the thing is, like, certain parts of that stack of paper you do have to consent to. So if they're trying to paint you out as being XYZ, a really easy way is that you've already consented to somebody judging you, i.e. doctor, psychologist, any of these things. And then when it comes to your, genocidal stack of paper against you, you're never going to see that piece of paper to know if anything on there is even correct, because your spirit, or even correct that you remember it, because your spirit already consented to whoever's interpretation, and that could change. So I've said for a long time that the invention of paper is really the fucking problem. Because even say, like, in the most honorable intended scenario where you're trying to keep, like, a stack of deeds, anybody can just switch out that deed and you never know. So then we think, okay, the computer, that's going to keep, all these backup records. We can sync the records, but those records become fuckable too. So, at the end of the day, we're just going to get rid of all the freaking technology. And we're just going to, start again. I mean, your doctors ain't shit. Like, the doctor you love ain't fucking shit if they don't have, like, a fancy machine to test your blood and shit. So, can they recommend you an herb? Do they know anything about your lymph? Do they know anything about recovering from, radiation?